think this is a major success in the first 10 years, and I think that's all contained within the formulation of high-quality Belt and Road cooperation.
Keith Bennett, a long-term China specialist and vice chair of Britain's 48 Group Club, is talking about the Belt and Road Initiative proposed by China 10 years ago. He said projects of the initiative often have the most immediate and identifiable impact on people's lives.
Alongside the great projects like the Port of Gwadar, the Port of Piraeus, the connectivity across Central Asia and so on, but it's also about the things that really reach down to local communities, which also of course brings people out of poverty, but it's also people who are brought out of poverty. They buy things, they spend money, they buy products, they start small businesses and so on. So poverty alleviation and development go hand in hand.
Bennett has been following the initiative ever since it was put forward. He has attended several international conferences connected with the BRI. During COVID-19 pandemic, he helped organize a webinar on BRI cooperation in South Asian countries. He said he witnessed the huge degree of international support and enthusiasm for the BRI.
What I saw there was the huge degree of high-level international attention and support and enthusiasm for the Belt and Road. In fact, the overwhelming majority of countries in the world, I think over 3/4, have signed up to the Belt and Road initiative in one way or another, in bilateral and multilateral agreements, and even where countries themselves for one reason or another have not formally signed up to the Belt and Road, there's still a lot of interest among business people and social circles and so on, and I'm sure many of them will have a greater degree of synergy and integration into the Belt and Road. And what we're talking about in the Belt and Road Initiative, it's so ambitious. It's about nothing less than a fundamental redrawing of the economic map of the world, and also the map of the world in terms of communications, connectivity, trade routes, supply chains, and so on.
Bennett was invited to visit the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor in 2017. For him, the visit to Pakistan was very special.
And I think that reflects that the friendship between China and Pakistan is something very special. People talk about, sometimes they say that it is, higher than the Himalayas and sweeter than honey. I think it really does reflect the sentiments of Pakistani people, from, high-level government ministers and leading entrepreneurs, but also down to the waiters in hotel or ordinary workers on projects. It was a vivid illustration that the CPEC project rests on this deep friendship between China and Pakistan, not only between the countries, but between the peoples.
Bennett said he learned from a university director in Quetta, the capital of Pakistan's Balochistan province, that China is providing scholarships for students from Balochistan to study in China.
This is an example of how this big project is giving a much needed support to the the intellectual and development and the well-being of local people, which is a story you'll never see in the Western press, unfortunately.
As a long-term BRI observer, Bennett acknowledged that in the West there are some ignorance, misunderstanding and even deep-seated prejudice against the BRI. Nevertheless, people in participating countries of the BRI can see with their own eyes and make their own judgments.
No country can fundamentally develop in isolation. If you look at some of the central themes of BRI, they accord precisely with what our country's development needs. And development needs can only be realized if countries can be better integrated into the global economy, global supply chains, and so on.
In Bennett's view, by providing roads, broadband connectivity and other infrastructure developments, the initiative is making a community with a shared future possible.
You can say that community of shared future is the house. It's a common home of humanity, but the Belt and Road Initiative is like the bricks that you build the house with.